Hey guys, Aggie K Wealth Therapist. Thanks for joining me for a little mindset chats. And today I wanted to talk about something that came up for a one-on-one client of mine. I thought it was very relevant to what a lot of people are struggling with, and that everybody struggles with at any income point, at any success point in their career. This can come up. So why do I ask the question? Did you have a strict upbringing? Did you have a wild upbringing or an unstructured upbringing? And why either one of those extremes will create a certain money block, and that money block is around trust and trusting yourself, period, trusting yourself in making decisions, but trusting yourself also around money, and trusting yourself and trusting yourself around money. So how does this play out subconsciously? Well, if you were raised in a household that was very strict, then there was a lot of rules. People were telling you what to do all the time. There was a lot of, as my client puts it, commentary on what you were doing and how you were doing it and how it should be done. And there's a lot of structure within that and too much structure within that. So the child never gets a chance to truly figure out how to trust themselves, because it's never an option to trust yourself. It's never an option to explore, to do what you want, to make a mistake, to learn from that mistake, to have that growth, and to trust your instinct and intuition. And those people often fall into the over-intellectualizing part of being stuck with their mindset and money mindset, as they try to over-intellectualize how to make money, or how they should be making money, or how they should be running their business. And of course we need our intellect, but they get stuck in their heads, basically, right? Hey Whitney, hey gorgeous. So the issue is really trusting yourself. When you grew up in a strict upbringing, you're gonna have a hard time trusting yourself, because there was always someone telling you what to do. And so either you're afraid to do the wrong thing, or you become that person in your head who's always telling you what you should do, instead of connecting with your feelings on a deep level so that you can figure out what you actually want to do, which is what ends up being in alignment, right? So that's how that can play out, is you can become this like talking head, over intellectualized, trying to figure everything out from your brain. And don't come at me like, yes, you need a brain to have a business or to be successful, obviously, but when you're over intellectualizing and you're looking for all those answers in your head, you're usually spending a lot of time being critical, judgmental, judging where you're at, judging what you didn't do, judging decisions you've made, etc., etc. So that to me instantly tells me like just too intellectual. You're trying to solve all this intellectually, which tells me you're avoiding feeling stuff. And feeling stuff in a way that's going to move you forward, obviously not keep you stuck, but people want that to happen instantaneously, and it doesn't happen instantaneously because you don't trust your feelings yet. And that's the place where when you start trusting your feelings, you start to be able to make decisions that are really in alignment with you, who you are, how you show up, all that stuff, and things that are going to make you money. So that's one side. The other side is if you grew up in a really unstructured environment and didn't have anyone telling you what to do or having any commentary, is that you lack feedback, right? You lack any sort of feedback that might have been helpful to help you start trusting yourself, right? Because on the other extreme, if you have zero feedback and nobody's sort of giving you a sense of how you're showing up or what you're doing, then you have the other extreme of not knowing if you really trust yourself, if you made the right decisions. Maybe you made too many mistakes. Maybe you didn't have enough guidance or mentorship, that you really needed. So ideally, the balance is somewhere in the middle, right? That level of trusting yourself is in the middle between stepping away from that very, very structured, always commentating, always very intellectual, and also not being totally wild and out there on your own, but also having some balanced level of mentorship that helps guide you so that you can build trust in yourself, right? Because we don't always know, we don't always have all the information. And if we're just like walking blind without any, trail for us, that can also be a really bad setup for our money mindset and our consciousness, right? So those are the two things, and both of them relate to this idea of trusting ourselves. So how, think about how as a kid you learn to trust certain abilities that you have, certain things about your personality that you like or that other people like. How did you learn to trust that? Think about that process. That's real like subconscious mindset work. Think about how you created those things to trust yourself around that, and why you trust yourself around that, for example, and not around money, right? And there's probably a few things. There's like a level of consistency, of routine. Mindset loves consistency and routine. It's not magic, right? It's like you just kept showing up in a certain way, doing certain things, and it kept happening. So there's a certain level of like routine, reliability, consistency that builds trust in us. There's also authenticity, right? Like you have to be congruent that what you're saying, what you're feeling, and how you're acting all match up. If those things don't match up, you're living in some kind of incongruent, I can't say it. You know what I'm saying? You're incongruent on some levels, right? And when you're incongruent, also really hard for money to come in, because it's hard for you to trust yourself about pricing, about packages, about marketing, about what you should move forward with, about if you should have a new thing or stick with your old thing or whatever the case might be, right? That's where you get messed up in terms of trusting yourself. Is because there can be incongruencies in different areas of your life, and that's how that relates down to trust. So routine, reliability, congruency, authenticity, honesty, standing up for yourself. Those are all ways that you learn to trust yourself, right? When all those different levels match up, you're showing up for yourself. You're in a routine. As boring as it sounds, that's how we build trust. That person shows up every day. That's how we know they're going to keep showing up. Sun rises every day. That's how we know the sun's going to keep rising. Money shows up every day. That's how we know money's going to keep showing up every day. And now that's the tricky part, is just taking a look at my time real quick. Call it noon, one-on-one call it noon. But the tricky part around trusting that money's going to show up every day is kind of following the trail as to why I believe money isn't going to show up every day. And then having to suspend reality to believe that it is. I'm going to make money every day. I'm going to bring in new clients every day. And I'm going to build that level of trust. I'm going to insist that that is what is going to happen. I'm going to feel joyful every day. I'm going to make good decisions for myself every day. Not looking for perfection, but we're looking for that consistency, that maturity, and I hear people in my programs sometimes and in different places on the internet talking about this stuff and saying like, I'm doing all this mindset stuff and money's still not falling out of the sky. Well, there's so many elements of business. It's never going to fall out of the sky. It's deeper and deeper levels of trust. It's deeper and deeper levels of understanding that build that trust, right? And the trust isn't going to come out that and of course miracles are possible and amazing things are possible, but the trust is going to be developed because you kept showing up and you kept insisting that money would come, and you kept insisting that you were good at what you did, and you kept insisting that it was right and deserving for you to have what you want and to be paid for it. And that trust doesn't happen overnight. Any relationship, right? If you're giving your trust away and your people follow me for years before they hire me. Some people hire me right away, which you're welcome to do. But it takes people sometimes years. Like I'll get an email, that 2 years, and I have to keep going every day, showing up every day, sharing content every day, because I know that someone out there hears the right thing and it motivates them and it's the right time and they come into the next level of growth with me. But I have to keep showing up for me, to not give up on myself, that I know I'm reliable, and then money treats me the same way. Money then shows up for me regularly. Money then doesn't abandon me, right? So this is how that trust piece really plays out. And I want you guys to take that to heart, do some journaling on that, do some mindset work on that. Join me inside the Unmastermind, starting very soon. It's really like a higher level sort of program for people who are already earning money, who want to make a bigger leap. I'm doing a PTP 2.0. So anyone who's done PTP can do a 2.0 program with me for the next 3 months, which is a little bit, which is significantly cheaper than the mastermind, if that's like where your, budget is. And then there's one-on-one. So get into some mentorship. Doesn't have to be with me, but get into some mentorship and some guidance around mindset work. It will change your life. It'll change your business. I'm living proof of that. Thank you guys for watching me. I'm Aggie K, Wealth Therapist. See you on the next live. If you like this, please love, like, share, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.